I'm going to introduce you to the idea of Markdown files. Uh, just create one. We'll start here. Usually when I come up here and create a new tab in my editor window, I select R script. This time I'm going to select R Markdown. And I'm going to select document. And I've got to fill out some blanks here. The title is untitled right now. I'll just call it Intro to Markdown, and I'll leave my name as the author, and right now I'll leave HTML as the default output format. And click on OK. And I wind up looking at here. And the first time you do this, RStudio will tell you that it needs to download some new packages to allow you to work with Markdown files. Go ahead and say yes to that. But let me show you what a Markdown file looks like. First there's this stuff up here at the top, and then there's another piece of stuff up here at the top. And then there's some plain text. You notice that there's a couple hash marks here. You'll see that this marks a heading of some kind. And then just plain text. And then you see some R code, and wherever you see R code, you'll notice that it's enclosed in something special. It's highlighted, and there's the 3 tick marks, and then an R, and then maybe some other stuff. And then there's a piece of R code. And here's another one, an example of a plot command. And then there's some more plain text. So you've got a mixture of plain text, heading material, and R commands. And I want to show you what this does. You don't run a Markdown file. What you do is knit it. And let's see what knitting does. What does knitting mean? Knitting means that you take separate things and weave them together. So let's knit this file. And it wants me to save a place. I'll just leave this thing as untitled. I don't really care about this. And I'll save this Markdown file. And it says, yeah, I've done this lots of times, so there's plenty of those there. Okay, so here's what it did. It created an HTML file, and you'll notice that we had the command summary cars in the Markdown file, and you see that here. You also see the output from that command here. And including plots, you'll see that there's a plot, and it wound up in your HTML file. And if you remember when you looked back at that thing in the Markdown, well, there's a line there that you can't see, but we'll go back and we'll see why you don't see the plot command. Okay, so let's just close this, and you notice that the plot command said echo equal false, and note that the echo equal false parameter was added to the code chunk to prevent printing of the R code that generated the plot. Now let me show you something else. Let's take out this echo equal false so that you actually see the R command. And we don't actually need this. This is all you really need for a chunk. It's just the R and curly braces, okay? And you don't need this cars here in this chunk either. And let's add something to this. Let's put a structure command in here, strcars. Okay, you can have as much R code as you want in one of these chunks. And let's knit. And instead of knitting Word, we'll take another option, or sorry, instead of knitting HTML, we'll take the option to knit Word. And the result of that was that it produced a Word document. And this is the way I'm going to ask you to do assignments in the future. You're not going to make up your own Word documents and copy-paste things into them. What you're going to do is create Word documents using RStudio to write the Word document using Markdown and knitting. And here's the plot command because we took that echo option out, and here is the plot. So this is kind of nice. What it does is produce a very presentable document. You notice that the effect of the two hash marks mark this as a heading, and there was also two hash marks here. You see this two hash marks here including plots, and that turned this into a heading in the final document. Okay, so that's the way we're going to do things from now on.